Newlands.
And we're live with that question from Pierre asking Hendrik if he's going to the test at Newlands. But welcome, everyone. It's the Handicap Rugby Chat that matters. It's Thursday night at 9 o'clock. And good to have a full panel on at the moment. And I'm going to introduce him straight away because he's scheduled for load shedding at 9 o'clock. So there's a good chance it'll be popping off. But let me welcome first and foremost the conductor. Conductor, you haven't been on the show for a while. Good to have you on. And I guess the question is, will you be conducting any bus journeys this weekend?
Thanks, Brent. It's lovely to be back with you, Oaks. I don't know if I've actually been back on this year, so it's lovely to be back on the show and lovely to join you guys again. I'm fighting the clock here against the Eskom switch operator, so we'll see how I am. Nothing ridiculously strong, but a couple of strong bets. Nothing. I don't know how big the train is going to be this weekend, but some good bets hopefully lined up there.
Excellent. And then coming to us from a country where load shedding is not a word that's in the dictionary, it's Pierre Killian. Pierre, good to have you on the show again. You were on quite a bit last year. You haven't been on for a while. Super Rugby has started, though, and good to have you back on.
No, yeah, thanks, Brent. Yeah, as you say, load shedding is not a problem here, but the problem is the winter, and it's been a few months of not being able to have a braai. So in some ways, you guys are still very lucky.
Yeah, we got to be grateful for what we have. I was saying to the boys before the show, in our country, electricity is a privilege and not a right, that's for sure. And joining us there at the bottom of the screen, Hendrik Swart is back and looking forward to getting stuck into Super Rugby. How are you, Hendrik?
I'm great, Brent. I haven't had a braai tonight, but I'll have one tomorrow and on Saturday. Yeah, and I won't be able to go a week without at least 3 or 4 braais. So I probably won't make the European winter.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I enjoy my braais as well, I can tell you. So just a welcome to all the guys in the live chat. I see the guys like Oracle, Ruan, Chris are there already. We always find the guys flood in as the show goes, and looking forward to seeing what we can come up with in terms of betting value tonight. We will also be joined later in the show by the Stig. He's going to come on and probably wrap up Super Rugby for us with his predictions. And we'll talk, well, we won't be talking much to the Stig because last time he was fairly silent, but we'll get his picks as well. If the conductor is still on the show, and we'll focus a little bit on the European rugby. If not, we probably won't because the rest of us haven't really done our homework on that. But guys, let's get cracking. We got 6 games to come in the Super Rugby this weekend. And Hendrik, I want to start with you. We got the Crusaders against the Highlanders. I'll bring the GG Gaming caps up because I have them from the last show. But that's just an indication of where the line is. They were 15.5, but they had the Crusaders fairly firm favourites there at 7-10, but I imagine that means the other bookies are sitting at about 16, 17 at the moment.
Yes, I've got Sunbet open and they're at 16.5. Brent, the Highlanders beat the Brumbies last week, but I think this Highlanders side is overrated. The Brumbies got disrupted by the mumps. We learned that this week. Only we knew that last week. And I think that charge down try that the Islanders got just after the Brumbies scored, that kept them in the game they shouldn't have been in. And I really think they're overrated, and it looks like I've underrated the Crusaders a bit. They were really impressive against the Blues last week. I expected more from the Blues at home. So back at home, I think the Crusaders will put this Islanders team away, and there probably will be a bit of talk about Mitch Hunt going back to Christchurch or to Nelson, where they're playing. I think they're playing in Nelson. But I can't see the Islanders staying within 20 years. So I like the minus here. I haven't really had a proper look. Well, I'm not sure where the points will be. Highlanders, if Highlanders points is more than 2 converted tries, I'll go unders on that because the Crusaders' defense has been really impressive so far.
Excellent. Well, before he does get knocked off and touch wood, he's still there. Let's go to the conductor and get his views on this one. What do you anything down here? And welcome to Sean Nicholas, our 7th specialist, who's joined us as well.
Yeah, Brent. No, I'm firmly with Henrik there. I think the value was this cap hasn't shifted too much. I think it started at about 13.5. I took some 14.5 earlier in the week. I see it's sitting at 15.5, I think, with BetX. And I think, like you guys said, 15.5, 16.5. I'm firmly in the Crusaders camp. They beat the Waratahs by 18, beat the Blues by 17 in Auckland. I don't rate this Highlanders side at all. Co Tompkinson now has got his red card. He should have had the red card on Saturday. Would have helped our Brumbies bets a little bit. But and they replaced him. I don't know who to replace him with, but not really great shakes. I don't rate that front row of the Highlanders. So yeah, and as Henrik said, it's first game home actually in Christchurch. So yeah, I think it could be a 25 to 30 point hiding against Highlanders. I know it is a derby. It's a Kiwi derby, and they say it should be tight. But I really think this is a game where the Crusaders could actually click and play that Harlem Globetrotter kind of rugby, those ridiculous behind the back passes, etc., and really put some big points against this Highlanders side. I mean, the Highlanders used to have guys like Matt Faddis and those sort of guys to sort of plug the gaps, but it's really NPC journeymen that are really there in the ranks for the Highlanders.
Yeah, I must say I'm in agreement with you. I do like the Crusaders on the minus, and let's see if Fear's going to rubber stamp it for us.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to rubber stamp it. Earlier today, I watched the New Zealand show, The Breakdown, and they had a segment with Razor Robertson, and they were talking about getting Crusaders all boys out to the game and what have you. I actually left this game alone to wait for the teams because of the resting protocol and so on. But one bet that stood out for me is the Crusaders halftime bet. So you can get that for -7.5 with WSB. So I've taken some of that. I think they might get out of the blocks quickly against the Highlanders. So I think that would be my play. And then points, so the line is sort of 52, 53, 34 for the Crusaders, 17 for the Highlanders. I'm almost inclined to go unders on the Highlanders. 17 points means they need to score 2 tries. And I don't think they've got it in them. And then also Crusaders 34. Yeah, I think weather-wise, 34 points, if you want to go that way, I would go over.
Right, and just if you are looking for exotic bets on this game as well, we do have Couch Critics preview up that he writes for a Bet Olymp each week, and he comes in with your first try scorer and all that sort of stuff. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but no doubt he'll be come up with some stuff there. I've also, I must tell you, got Son of a Punt on WhatsApp, just messaging me some of their bets. They're, of course, very popular on Twitter now, also like Sean Nicholas, 7 Specialists. So we'll be running through those during the show, particularly sending me a few European fancies there. So we'll get onto that. But it seems like we're all fairly aligned on this game. I do like your halftime strategy as well there, Pierre. And that's the only game for Friday, which is strange from a Super Rugby point of view. But we can move on. And once again, just to stress, these handicaps that I'm going to show you are GG Gaming. And they're obviously going to vary a little bit from bookmaker to bookmaker. But Pierre, I'll stay with you. Rebels plus 4.5, Sharks minus 4.5. I imagine that means we're going to get about 5.5 on the Rebels. I know this morning I wrote the preview for Good for the Game. I went 2.5 Sharks, and the betting was suspended, but there was some 3.5 available. So that's your sort of range, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, Australian side 0 from 6 against foreign opposition. So you're going to have to be a very brave man to back the Rebels at home. They've made quite a few changes. Dave Wessels is a good coach. He's one of the better ones around. But I just think the Sharks, they've got some momentum. Ahmed's not playing. I don't think that will be too much of a problem for the Sharks because of that very quick back row and so on, Notchi. So this is one I'm going to go overs on points in this match when the points come out, mid-afternoon kickoff. But on the handicap, as we're here, I would go Sharks minus either 4.5, 5.5.
Right, yeah. As I say, took a bit of the Sharks minus 2.5. I'm with you on points there. The first thing I noticed was really early kickoff. I don't know much about the ground, though. Conductor, did I see it's an AFL ground, this one? I mean, I can't ever recall watching a Super Rugby game there.
Brent, to be honest, I haven't really done much research on the ground itself. I just know it's a little bit outside Melbourne. So I think the effect that's going to have is probably your crowd attendance is not going to be where it would be if it was within Melbourne itself. So, with the Rebels not really playing well at all, and the ground not being within Melbourne, I don't know. Probably a man and his dog is probably going to be in attendance. I think attendance in Australia in itself is actually a big issue. I see Fox Sports is pulling out of Aussie Rugby, so Yeah, they're in trouble times with the regards to monetary wise, attendances, viewership, etc. So yeah, I'm not expecting much. Like I said, I haven't seen the ground. I'm not sure how firm it is, the dimensions, etc. So I'll have to have a look tomorrow. It's not going to change my bets. Look, I took some Sharks earlier in the week. I took +1.5. I would still go medium punter -4.5 on the Sharks there. The last couple of games for the Rebels really disappointed me. They ended off last year taking 2 massive hidings. They took one away, big hiding to the Crusaders, and one at home to the Chiefs. Started off this year with a loss to the Sunwolves and a really poor showing against the Brumbies. I think the Sharks will be up for this one, and they got the better troops to pull this one through. I'm really confident in the Sharks. I like Nohamba starting instead of Schroeder. I think his service is a lot quicker, and I think the Sharks will feed off that.
Right, Henrik, let's bring you in because I think the Sharks were disappointing for you last week against the Hurricanes, as they were for me. I actually tipped them on good for the game at 5-2 on the board. I thought they might beat the Hurricanes. But in the end, after challenging for a while, they were blown away. Can they bounce back with a victory here?
Brent, I also thought that the Sharks would beat the Hurricanes, so that was a really disappointing one. This looks a tricky game to me. I'm not sure about this one. I took some Sharks odds against earlier in the week, but I'm actually thinking about trading out of that bet. Being out is a big blow to me. He's instrumental in that backline. He runs the defensive. He communicates very well in defense, and he's a very clever player. He reads the game well. I think at the moment, in my opinion, he's the best outside centre in the world. So it's a big knock for the Sharks to lose him. So I don't know. I'm uncertain. I'll go for a value bet. Sharks 1-12. I haven't checked the price, but that would be my only bet here. And then I agree with Pierre on the overs, maybe because it's an afternoon game. It would be interesting to see where the points come out. The only concern is the ref. It's Aya Jacobs, South African ref. He's not an overs ref, but the conditions should be good. I checked the weather; it looks good, and if it's an AFL field, it should be firm. So with it being an afternoon game and with the Sharks speaking about the new brand of rugby, playing an open startup game, and especially with Nohamba starting at 9 and Bosch at 10, there should be points, I think. So I think I would rather focus on points here, but it will all depend on the quote.
Yeah, I think the guys who got the Sharks odds against early in the week are certainly sitting pretty heading into this one. But like you guys, I'll be looking at the points markets here. And if anything, I might be looking to have an overs play on Sharks points, depending on where the line comes in there. Let's move on to the next game then, and it's the Chiefs up against the Brumbies. And here the GG Gaming handicap 14.5, Chiefs 7-10, Brumbies plus 14.5. And Conductor, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously, you can see just from that handicap line, there has been money for the Chiefs, and I imagine 15-16 elsewhere.
Yeah, Brent, I think an interesting stat to start off with. I don't know if it's only the Brumbies, but I don't think an Australian team has won in New Zealand since 2015, I think it is. So I think it's about 5 years. I don't know if the guy mentioned it. I think it was all Australian teams. So at the moment, Aussies winning in New Zealand is just not done. I don't know why it bounced so quickly. I don't know if it was because of the mumps story that came out, but the Brumbies team seems to be actually better than last week. Simone's come back. Tony Pulu's on the bench. I think the only 2 guys that are missing is Falafa. He's a big loss. Normally a big try scorer for them, as well as Tom Wright on the wing. I don't know. This is a bit high now for me, Brent. I think you said it's sitting at -14. Sorry, in GG.
Yeah, minus 14.5. And I think you'll probably find the other guys can probably confirm it's probably higher elsewhere, 15.5, 16.5. Let's have a quick look at Sunday World Sports Betting.
Yeah, WSB is 16.5.
Yeah, Brent,
Right.
I think at that 16.5, I don't know. It almost looks to me like a no bet for me. I took some Chiefs minus, I think it was 11.5 earlier in the week, but when it starts climbing to that figure, it just becomes a bit high. I know the Brumbies they weren't great against the Highlanders last week, and as Henrik mentioned, disrupted by some illnesses. But that seems a bit high. It just seems a bit high for me to take that. So for me, it's a no bet at that at the current cap.
Well, Oracle Rugby coming in then. Oracle, just a little gentle reminder that you're 500 Rand down to Henrik and myself after last week. Not that you needed that reminder. But Aussies winning in New Zealand won't happen before my kid's 21st. And the bad news for Aussie fans, he's only 17. I might even put it out there, Oracle, that your kid will turn 30 before an Aussie side wins in New Zealand. Let's go up to Pierre, though, and get his opinion on this game.
Same as the conductor there. I think when the line came out, I took minus 11.5 or minus 12.5, knowing that this week Cruden, Mackenzie, and those bunch would start together. So I got early on it. And then when the Brumbies news came out and seeing Fainga is out, because the Brumbies for me are really a one-trick pony. Driving maul, no other threats that they have. So I will definitely be looking at unders on Brumbies points. So I'm happy with my low minus, considering what handicap is now. But unders on Brumbies points is going to be a decent play for me. Anything, I would say, above 17 or so, I'm going unders.
Excellent. Interesting that Couch Critic's not on the show. Now I know why, because his favourite hooker is not playing in Fainga there. So, no doubt that's why he's not on the show. Just to mention, of course, the Good for the Game betting mailer will come out on Friday morning. If you haven't subscribed yet, it is free to do so. Just a bit of fun we have and share our bets, normally from the show the night before. That's on Friday, and the link is in the description down below. So do go in and look at that. Henrik, before you give your view on the game itself, I'm interested. Everyone's saying Fainga out, and it's true. I mean, he scores most of their tries. But is that because he's so good, or is it because the maul's so good? In other words, could you stick me at the back of the maul, and I would probably score as many tries, Fainga? I mean, or is there some skill that he's got that's getting in those tries?
No, Brent, I don't think there's any skill by him. It's just a very good maul by them, and they're very organised with the ball. Obviously, I think it must be Laurie Fisher that coaches them that ball, but I don't think it's Paul Fainga necessarily. So, but then again, his line-out throwing is very good. He's very accurate with his throws. So I'm not sure about the other hooker playing how accurate he is with the line-outs. So that obviously makes a difference. I'm on a Chiefs here. I've called them all right this year. I'm 3 on Chiefs handicaps, and in my opinion, they are the best New Zealand team. So I like them. Yeah, even I see there's still 15.5 available at Sunbet. I like the 15, and I can see them winning by 20 plus here at home with Aaron Cruden back and Luke Jacobson. Well, Bosher went very well. Bosher's been in great form, but I'm a big fan of Luke Jacobson, so I'm looking forward to seeing him back. A bit strange that Brad Weber is being rested for this game. The first 2 games he was on the bench and only started the third one, and now he's being rested. But they've got a good side. Anton Leonard-Brown back is a great centre as well. I just now said that he's the best in the world, but Anton Leonard-Brown will probably give him a shot for that, because he's he's a very intelligent player as well. He creates a lot of space for other guys. I like the Chiefs, like I said, so I'll take the minus 15.5 still available here, and I'm in full agreement with Pierre on the unders on Brumbies points here. The ref is Brendan Pickerel. He is out and out unders ref. So that if you're thinking about over some Chiefs points here, maybe the ref might be a bit of a concern. But anything 14.5 or higher on Brumbies points, I'm happy to go unders on their points.
Happy to go unders there. So guys, you keep an eye on the Good for the Game forum. There's also a link in the description box. Guys will be sharing their points plays closer to time. Just for the record, I like the Chiefs here as well. Gary Lenton was very firm on the Chiefs too. So I'm happy to take the minus 15.5 there. Let's go to Pierre Ball for the next one. It's the Reds, minus 14.5. That was at even money at home to the Sunwolves, who were plus 14.5. Pierre, Reds, of course, have had quite a bit of travelling to do. Sunwolves are also coming over, but a very unpredictable side. And this handicap, at first glance, looks quite well set to me.
I think so as well. I watched the Jaguars and Reds game this past weekend, and I was actually quite bullish on the Jaguars. And after they went down something like 17-3 or 22-3 in that range, I did the 10-point rule, and I went all in on the whatever the handicap was on the Jaguars, and so I had to watch the whole match. Quite happy with that. But the Reds, for me, they were really unlucky. 4 Argentinian officials, they couldn't get anything right in that second half. But the rugby that they played in that first half, James O'Connor, Lucy's working well together. They just get it out wide quickly. I think they're going to be too much for the Sunwolves. This is one of my 3 early caps that I took. I took this when it was -12. I think it came out on Sunday or so. But I'm still firmly in the Reds camp, and I would actually add to the -14.
Right, so that's firm commitment there on the Reds. I've been quite impressed with the Reds this season. I haven't got involved in this game yet, but I've still got to write the preview for good for the game. Just to welcome some of the overseas guys, Shane and Chris, coming in just in time as well for Six Nations, which we'll be talking about fairly shortly as well. So that was Pierre getting us off to a start there. Let's go to the conductor now for his views on the Reds versus the Sunwolves.
Yeah, Brent, I very much agree with Pierre. They started so well against the Brumbies. I thought they were actually a bit unlucky not to beat the Brumbies there. Ran out of legs against the Lions in that last 20 minutes, just like the Stormers did. And, I was super impressed with him in that first 25, 30 minutes against the Jaguares. Obviously, the officials got together at halftime and decided they didn't like what was going on. I think the penalty count was something like 13-2. You can say maybe 1 or 2 penalties, but geez, that was lopsided. So, the Reds played some really, really great football, for that sort of 30, 35 minutes. And if it wasn't for let's call it some slightly innovative reffing, I thought they could have kept it much closer. And the Jags were just too much in the second half. I like them in this game. So the 2 bets I've taken, I took some Reds -12.5 earlier in the week. I'll still take a bit of Reds -14.5. But the one bet that I'll look at, I haven't seen it as yet, is the Sunwolves points. I've actually been really impressed with the Sunwolves. I mean, they really got together literally about a month ago or a month or 2 ago. I've been impressed with Garth April. His distribution has been good. The sort of cohesion with the guys has been good. So I'll look for them to get some points on the board. I just don't know what the points line is at the moment, but specifically first half points, they generally start off with a bit of a bang and tend to fade away a bit. I mean, if I look at that Chiefs game, they really sort of kept the Chiefs running till the 80th minute. I think they scored 1 or 2 easy ones in that second half and pushed the Chiefs a bit towards the end there. So I'm really impressed with the Sunwolves in terms of, it's really a hodgepodge dad's army with a bunch of Kiwis, Aussies, and Saffers. So I like them to score a couple of points, but I'll be on the Sunwolves, on the Reds there. Sorry.
Excellent. Yeah, just a little prediction. I guess you get, if the line's 50.5, you'll probably get Reds around about 30.5 and Sunwolves about 18.5 points. So interested in Hendrik's view on this one. Hendrik, if I had to take what the conductor said there on the Sunwolves points, the fact that he fancies them for some points, but he also fancies the Reds on the handicap, I would say then the overs points would be your play then, because that way you don't mind the Sunwolves points, but if you're expecting the Reds to run away with it, you've got to think that overs is a big runner.
Yeah, Brent, the only thing is Nick Berry is the ref and he's an unders ref, so that puts me off the points. The points is a difficult one here for me. The other thing that you have to remember, Brisbane sometimes is very humid, and I see it's 27
a little bit like Durban.
Yeah, a lot, especially early in the year, so that makes Brisbane a difficult one for points. 27 degrees predicted, and it's an evening game, so that I'm not sure about the points here. I was looking at unders on Sunwolves points actually, but it will all depend on the quote. It's the first away game. They've been impressive at home, but the jury is still out on them traveling. I like the Reds here. The Reds, they are 0 from 3, but in all 3 those games, they impressed me at stages, and they actually looked like winning all 3 those games at stages. Against the Brumbies, they led at halftime, and against the Lions, they looked like they could win the game, and then had a great first half against the Juarez. So I like the Reds here, and I think back at home after travelling a bit, they will be up for this one. And I'm actually surprised that this cap is as low as it is. I would have expected to be closer to 20 or more, especially with it being an away game for the Sunwolves. So this is one of my stronger bets for the weekend, the minus on the Reds, and I'm surprised that there's still 14.5 available.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned you were surprised where the cap is, and it made me think, what was my early cap on this game? Because every Sunday I do the exercise. I didn't do a video last week because I was a bit pushed for time, but did it on the Good Game Forum. And I popped on there now, and I made those Reds minus 19.5. That's where I would have handicapped this game. So like you, I'm a bit surprised at the line where it is. And this is a game where, having perhaps been a little bit undecided, I find myself leaning more and more towards the Reds. Xavier Murray coming in and he probably got a bit of the early Reds minus 11.5. And just to mention to punters, if you missed the minus 11.5, for example, there's nothing to stop you taking a shorter price about it now. Take the 7 to 10 minus 11.5 if you think that the 14.5 and the 15.5 might be a little bit high. So that's also a tactic that you can use as well. Let's go on to the next game then, and I'm just going to pop down the screen. We've got I mixed the order up earlier, but let's get it right this time. The Stormers against the Jaguares. The Stormers, this is a GG Gaming, minus 6.5 at 8 to 10, and the plus 6.5 is at evens. And Henrik, let me start with you on this one. Are you part of the reason why the Stormers have shortened to 8 to 10 at GG Gaming at the 6.5?
No, I'm not part of that, Brent. This looks a tricky one to me. The Stormers, they're 3 from 3. They've won all 3 games, but I haven't been impressed with them. They scored 2 intercept tries against the Hurricanes that made the score look bad. Against the Bulls, they looked really poor in the second half. The Bulls pushed them very hard. And then they actually should have lost at Ellis Park last week. So, I'm not that impressed by the Stormers. And the Warriors, they've been very impressive at home. Obviously, this is a away game, so they should be tested here. Newlands is a bit of a fortress for the Stormers. But I can see the Warriors winning this game. I'll just go for a bit of a value bet. I think it will be a close game. So any team by 7 or less or the draw. I haven't checked the price on that, but that's my bet on this one. Then the points is a very difficult one for me. Again, it's all the games this weekend. The points, there's something going against the Stars aren't aligning on the points because you've got Rasta Rashivenge, great overs ref here, but Newlands is an unders venue. And then the Stormers defense is good, and the Warriors defense has been all right. So if it was a different ref, I would have liked the unders on total points if it's close to 50. But Rasta makes that difficult. So I've got no view on the points here. It will all depend on the quote.
Right, so Henrik, not too bullish on that. I find myself leaning towards the Stormers minus 6.5 is a pretty decent bet. What does the conductor make of it?
Yeah, Brent, I agree with you there. I'm quite bullish here on the Stormers. I hear what Henrik is saying in terms of the 3 games that they've played. I thought the first half against the Hurricanes by the Stormers was good. Look, to me, it's a sign of a good team to be able to pull those bad games out the fire. I thought the last 20 minutes from the Stormers, they just ran out of legs, and the Lions came back like they always do, sort of late in the game. It was showed great play by the Stormers to be able to get that win there. It's quite a changed side for the Jaguares. Guys like Montoya and Kremer on the bench. Obviously rotating the guys, which I think they didn't do enough of last year. So by the time they got to the finals, I think they were just out on their legs. So quite a couple of changes for the Jags. Yeah, I do like that sort of. I think it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and in Cape Town, it'll be a good crowd for the Stormers, and good pack, full strength team with Yankees and Kutsia back, and I took minus 5.5 today. I'd still be minus 6.5. I think you can expect a good game from the Stormers, and I like what Dobson is doing in terms of saying to the guys, look, we're not where we are just yet. Let's calm it down to a panic, and we are overhyped at the moment, and I think he understands that everyone's getting carried away with Stormer fever, and saying, look, there's lots more to come. And I think the Stormers have played well against the Jags in Cape Town, and I expect that to continue.
Right, well, Xavier Murray saying he likes the -7.5. And I'm just sniffing an opportunity here with the Oracle, because the Oracle is saying he can't believe that the Haggiaris are not favourites. Now, Oracle, you're 500 down to me after last week. Let me know in the live chat, because that's definitely not you under the helmet. Let me know in the live chat if you want an even 500. I'll give you +7.5, an even 500 if you want the Jags +7.5 against the Stormers. So we'll wait and see what Oracle does there. And so welcome to Stig Rugby as well. We're going to run through all these Super Rugby predictions now. So good to have you there. Just show us, Stig, what you're going to do for your minus and plus. If you still got the same, you've got the same thing. Stig doesn't want to reveal his identity. There's lots of talk that it could be Oracle, but we've got Oracle in the comment section. So I think that's conclusive proof that it's not. And the Don saying, here comes the Oracle. But anyway, until we have them on the same show together, I guess there'll always be speculation. Pierre, let's go to you for your thoughts on this one.
I have to disagree there with Hendrik. I think with Rasta reffing the match, there's no way he sleeps at home if the Stormers loses on Saturday night. I think he's the South African equivalent of the Argentinian refs. But jokes like that aside, the Jaguars, they haven't had a strong scrum. And it's only you, Bladen, that still remembers the strong Argentinian scrum of the 80s. I think the Stormers just has too much up front. Jaguars will be on the other side of the penalty count for me. So I got early involved in the Stormers, I think -2.5 or 3.5 early in the week. So I'm strong there. But I think one player that I'm going to be looking at is total penalties in the match. I think the Stormers might start off with their usual, they get a penalty, they kick it, they just strangle them, and then score 1 or 2 late tries and again end on 27 points or so. So I will look for over-match penalties. Then perhaps Skaran to be an anytime try scorer. He didn't get one last week, so the Stormers are due one from a more.
Right, Skaro last. Did you say anytime try scorer and last try scorer there? Yeah.
Oh, anytime, yeah.
Anytime, right? Hendrik, you want to come in on this?
Yeah, I just want to say on that penalties, I agree on that one. But the only problem is Damian Williams' kicking boots. It depends if he's got his kicking boots on. He can be so erratic kicking at post, so that makes it interesting.
Well, in case anyone's wondering why our viewership started climbing up, it's because the boys in New Zealand are waking up. So morning, boys. Yeah, it's 9:30 here in South Africa, but morning in New Zealand. Reverend, good to have you on the show as always. Oracle saying in the live chat, send me a link and I'll come on the show to prove I'm not the Stig. Come on, Oracle, you're fooling absolutely no one there. Right, guys, we've got so many. Stig, let me ask your opinion on this game. The minus or the plus? Stormers v. the Jags. And I'm going to talk you through, because this is, of course, available as a podcast after the show. So long silences won't be too welcome. Stig is going for the minus Stormers. You can get 6.5 on the Stormers. And be strong, if I'm not mistaken. You're also from New Zealand, so good to have you on the show as well. So Stig going for the minus there. That leaves us just the one Super Rugby game to cover, Stig, and I'll come back to you for all of your selections. We'll quickly run through them. But this is an interesting one. It's the Bulls against the Blues. I must tell you guys, this is the game I'm looking most forward to on the weekend. I'm hoping for good conditions at Loftus. I've already stated that I fancy a bit of, I think I saw 8-1. Blues to lead at the break. Bulls to come storming back as the altitude takes effect and to win the game. Who should I start with? Let's start with Pierre. What do you think of this one?
No, I think I agree there. I'm also really looking forward to this. This game also to me screams points. But one bet that I would be looking at is sort of a either side within 7, something like this. I just have a feeling that this match will be settled by a last-minute try either way. Pressed, I would go for the Bulls on the board. I think they are due. They're due for a win. They had the week off. So I might just give it to the Bulls to edge it. But I'd be much more comfortable 1-7 both ways, including a draw.
Right. Henrik, let's get your opinion on this one.
Brent, firstly on the points, you'll have to check the weather because there is rain predicted for Pretoria. this afternoon when I checked, there was more rain predicted than now. So the rain might be easing off a bit or not be that much. But yeah, we'll have to check closer to game time. If there isn't rain, I'm 100% with you, with Marius van der Westhuizen refereeing the game as well. He loves awarding a try, so I can keep points. The Bulls. This is the first home game back at Loftus. They pushed the Sharks, they pushed the Stormers a bit. And back at home, I expect a much better showing for the Bulls. So I like the Bulls a bit here to win the game. Blues first game on tour, and I like that bet of yours. Blues half-time, Bulls full-time, because I agree on the altitude. We could see last week with the Stormers game what big effect the altitude has. It's worse at Ellis Park, but Loftus still has enough of it. So yeah, the Blues should struggle in the second half. I spoke about the points. Yeah, it's a difficult one, so we'll have to have a look at the quotes and obviously the rain. If there's rain, and yeah, I'm not sure. You always say Ellis Park has good drainage. Loftus probably has good drainage as well. But yeah, it all depends on the quotes here.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because Loftus I always considered to be a ground with good drainage, and just over the last few seasons, I don't know what's happened. Loftus just hasn't looked as great underfoot when there has been a bit of rain, and sometimes I've gone high on points and be quite surprised with the conditions. So yeah, could pay Hendrik to take a bit of a watching brief on that one. Let's go to the conductor. Conductor, first of all, is it too early to say that the guy switches the switch for the load shedding must have had a couple of drinks and fallen asleep?
I think he's been drinking what Hendrik is drinking there, and he's obviously been off to bed early. So I'm actually quite happy for that. So I don't know what's going on. I'm expecting him to go off any minute. So every minute I have with electricity is a good minute. So happy with it with so long. So Brent, I like that bet of yours at 81. That's a hell of a good price. I think the Blues will start off quickly. I see Ioane is back for the Blues. I just don't know how fit he's going to be. I believe that fracture in his hand was minor, but I thought he was going to be off for longer. I took the Bulls on the board at 11-10. I don't know for what reason. I thought Marco van Staden was going to be back, but I see he's not back. I don't know when he's going to be back. I was actually hoping it was going to be this week. I don't know what I was thinking. But, look, I'm hoping it's going to be Blow Machine. Albert Yassini's Blow Machine this weekend. And I'm hoping the Bulls are going to do it. But I've got really no confidence in that bet. So I can really see it going either way quite easily. The Blues had a bad defeat last week in Auckland. And like Couch Critic says, you never know what kind of Blues is going to rock up. Are they quite serious? Are they going to take it seriously, or are they just here for a 2-week holiday? So, it's a tough bet. I'm not a big fan of Mornay coming back. To me, it's degeneration of the Bulls. They're reverting to type in terms of the game plan. But maybe this is a game that calls for it, kicking in the corners, turning the Blues pack, and running them down and getting their lungs burning in the high altitude. So, let's see how we go. I'm hoping for a good Bulls game. Bjorn Vosloo, I think, is replacing Contwana. And Contwana's been off the pace for me, so I'm hoping.
I don't believe it. I think the load shedding's kicked in. He's gone. Can you believe it? I have to bring this comment up from Oracle Rugby. He says there's nothing wrong with the guy on the load settings, which conductor just can't read the schedule. And maybe he's correct. So anyway, that is the end of the conductor. I'm going to remove him from the feed. Certainly, we'll see if he comes back. And Stig confirming that he's going for the. Well, you're going for the plus here. I assume, Stig, and just nod your head that means you're going for the blue for the Bulls, because they are the underdogs slightly in the game, right? Stig confirming that. So guys, it's just the three of us now. Unfortunately, the conductor, the load shedding did set in, but we got 38 minutes of him, which I guess we can be grateful for. I just want to run through quickly the games with a Stig, and you can just pop a quick minus or plus up, and I'll just talk it through for those of you who are listening on the podcast and can't watch him. We got the Crusaders against the Highlanders. What you going for there, Stig? Stig's gone minus there, so the handicap around about 15.5. Then in the morning, we got the Rebels against the Sharks, 4.5 points. What have you gone for there, Stig? You've gone for the minus. That's the minus on the Sharks. We've got the Reds against the Sunwolves is 14.5. He's gone the minus there as well, the Reds. And then we've got the Chiefs against the Brumbies. That was also 14-15. You're going for the Brumbies on the plus. And I think that brings us back to where we were. But dramatic news now, ladies and gentlemen, because we've lost the conductor. But we're going to put an end to some rumors now, because joining us in his string there is Oracle Rugby. Oracle, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. Hello, Stiggy. How are you?
Okay, well that confirms it then. We definitely don't have the Oracle and the Stig are definitely not the same person. Oracle, let me tell you now, we got our 500 Rand bet confirmed, by the way. But what is your best bet on Super Rugby? I'll start with you. Give us a quick summary of your bets on the weekend.
Yeah, Brent, Bulls best bet. Second best bet, I'm going to go the Hugger at the Stormers. And the third one would be the Chiefs to smash the Brumbies. And I was quite interested in that GG show earlier. I went 33, I think it was. And I was a bit worried because Han normally jumps in, Couch Critic normally jumps in one above me. And Henrik has been known to do that as well. But nobody went anywhere near 33. So if the Chiefs win by 33, I've got the money. I did punt with GG last week and the week before. Got all my money. I think I'm well down on him in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I'm going to try and get some free bets out of him and win a bit of cash. So my best bet, definitely the Bulls. I think they're coming home. I just like them. I don't know. I liked them against the Sharks. I liked them last week. The second week when they played the Stormers. They didn't win that game. I'm not impressed with Henrik. But yeah, I think the Hugger, I know that there's a lot of about the ref in that Reds game. Doctor, who's just left us, unfortunately, put on our WhatsApp group saying that it was difficult to watch, and one or two of the guys said it was heartache stuff, or should I say heart attack stuff. I said so. Last week's game I didn't watch. I was involved with Brendan O'Connell in a little bit of a punt, and I woke up in the morning and saw that they were 24-7 up at 36 minutes. Don't know how they lost the game. I'm not hearing anything about. I'm not listening to anything about referees. They were down 70. They were up 17 points. The Reds, ended up losing a 13-point handicap. In fact, the rest of the game I think went 36-3. So my best bet's definitely the Bulls. Followed by the Chiefs and then the Jaguares.
Right, let's go on to the other guys' best Super Rugby bets before we move on to some Six Nations, because the show is going on. Pierre, what's your best bet of the weekend of the Super Rugby?
I'm going to have to say the Reds on the minus.
Reds on the minus for Pierre's best bet. Henrik, yourself?
So just before I get to my best bet, one thing I forgot to mention in the Bulls and the Blues game. I checked the Blues. I see their next game is in Cape Town, so they'll probably target that one as a party game and coming over because Cape Town is much nicer city, have a few drinks and stuff. So they'll probably take the Bulls game more seriously. I think they'll only come down to Cape Town to have a good time, bit of holiday. My best bet is also the Reds. I'm with Pierre on that one. I like the Crusaders and the Chiefs as well, but I like the Reds. I think the handicap is about 5 points below, like you predicted.
Excellent. I don't know if anyone else is struggling to pick Henrik up a little bit from a volume point of view. Maybe someone could just mention in the live chat. I can hear you, Henrik, but quite faint. So, I think that brings us.
Reds minus.
Yeah, a Reds minus. Okay, excellent. Right, guys, let's move on to a bit of Six Nations then, because we've got that to talk about, and then we'll touch on a bit of European rugby as well. I'm going to pop onto Sunbet quickly and get their prices for the Six Nations, because I haven't had a good look. The first game we got is Italy up against Scotland. And Henrik, let me start with you. Have you looked at the Six Nations? I know you said you haven't really looked at the European club rugby, because we've probably got quite a big handicap here. What have we got? Minus 8.5 Scotland. That's away to Italy.
Yeah, it's not that big. I haven't had a proper look at the Six Nations, Brent, but I have been impressed by Italy the previous game against France, unfortunately, even though the French won that one. So yeah, at I think Italy, maybe Italy on the first half cap. I haven't checked, but it is probably four if you're lucky. 3 or 4.5 points. So Italy on the first half handicap for me there.
Italy on the first half handicap. Pierre, let's go to you for this game. Anything on it?
Yeah, I've actually watched, I think, all of the Six Nation games. Haven't had a punt, really. I had one on France the very first time, just for fun. But I think there's lots of problems in Scotland. If they don't win this game and win it well, Gregor Townsend is out of a job. So I think everything is not right in the Scotland camp. So I would also go a plus on Italy. I would just take it straight up on the handicap, 8.5 full-time handicap.
Right, and Stig, I'm going to ask you to put your pick up on this one, the minus or the plus. No bet, fair enough. No bet for the Stig. And Gavin, have you looked at the Six Nations? Anything on this game? Oh, sorry. I must apologize. I muted him because I wasn't sure if there was some interference there. So let me take you off. Gavin, you can go for it.
It wasn't interference, Brent. It was my 17-year-old kid chatting to me on the way out about the Deontay Wilder fight. He'd heard you on the GG Gaming show. So, yes, he is 17, not out of punt, but we'll get some accounts open for him next year. Don't worry about that. I'm more concerned about the Stig holding up a no-bet thing. I think he needs to hold up his plus and sideways slightly, so it looks like an X says, and maybe even a red X that says, I'm not interested in this game. I don't know if you should use the English language no bet. Just hold up a red X and a red plus and turn it sideways so we get an idea you're not interested. I'm with Pierre here. I think I'm a small plus punter on the Italians. I don't like them. I went against them in the last 2 games. Obviously, I lost against France. They scored some late tries. But seriously, when they play Scotland at home, anything above 3, maybe 4, it's value for the Italians. It doesn't matter how bad they are. It's just a small bit of value for me. Scottish team are not firing as they should be. And the Italians, look, they won the handicap 2 weeks ago. It's enough for me. It's a small punt. Italy plus.
Right, well, let's go on to the next game, which to me is the game of the weekend, Gavin. We've got Wales minus 3.5, France plus 3.5 on Sunday side at the moment. And earlier in the week, I did see some sort of 2-1 France available on the board. I'm just going to have a look. WSB got 19-10, just under 2-1. I'm going for the French on the board. I must tell you, I think they're going to win this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually going a little bit further, Brent. Excuse me. I'm calling a minus 5 or 6 here on France. I think you can go quite bullish on this one. I think the French will smash them. In fact, let's stick to your 2-1 line. I think whatever you can get around about 2-1, whether it's minus 4, minus 5, or minus 6, take it. A bit of value there. I think the French are flying at the moment. Or the Welsh haven't been doing as well as they should have. And they're race over. Yeah, I don't know. The Welsh team have just not given me any confidence. I'm not going to say I'm all over the French, but I'm certainly going to have a decent strike here. And I'm going France minus, never mind the board. I'm going straight for a nice minus 5 or minus 6. I'm expecting a double-digit win here, Brent.
Right, Pierre, let's get your opinion on this one.
Yeah, no, not quite that confident, but I'm also on the French plus. The only thing I don't like what they've done is they have Gael Ficko on the left wing. I thought he's one of those guys, you don't know if he's good or if he's bad. He's just one of those players. But I much preferred him at 12 with Fakatawa on the outside centre. I thought that gave the French backline a real good balance. If that wasn't the case, I probably would have also gone just straight on the win. I will be cheering them on, but for me, plus 5.5 is golden.
Excellent, Henrik. Let's see. I've muted Oracle. I hear exactly what you say. I've also noticed that sometimes when Oracle comes on, your sound goes a bit haywire. So let's see how it is now.
Yeah, it's better now, Brent, because it didn't have any problems.
I think it is.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not that confident on this one. I'll probably also go French on the plus. I think it's about 3.5. Because I like the French and they've been impressive, and I'm on them to win to go all the way in the Six Nations here. Just a small bet for me on the plus here, but not very confident.
Not a big bet there. And Stig, I don't think I've asked your opinion on this game. What do you reckon, the plus or the minus? He's having a look for it, and he says pay the punter, and he's going for race over. Okay, Stig, give us your pick, lad. And he's going for the minus. Yeah, so he's actually on the Welsh there, so that's quite interesting. Certainly, I'm on France on that one. Just having a look at some of the comments. The pre-Six Nations handicap lines of Wales -7, France +7. So they have contracted only fractionally. Let's stay with Henrik for the last game of the Six Nations. And we've got England here is it England -6.5? And that's at home to Ireland. Also another cracking game, Henrik.
Yeah, Brent, this should be a cracker, and it's on Sunday probably, eh? What is it?
Yeah, this is a Sunday game.
Nice one to end the weekend off. It should be a great game at Twickenham. England have shown a bit of cracks, in my opinion. So, I'm on the Irish here, and after 3 Six Nations games, is my strongest fancy. Ireland on the plus.
Right, Pierre, yourself?
Just unmute there. This game is also, it's got so many sideshows going on with the two Farrells and Eddie and O'Driscoll winding each other up, and England putting 50 past Ireland a while back. I see in London there's about a 70% chance for rain on Sunday. So I think it might be a tight affair. But I would just love the older Farrell to get one over the younger Farrell. So I would go Ireland 1-12.
Excellent. Well, I see the guys in the live chat, Emil saying England 1-12, and Shane making the comment that whichever team you want to go for this weekend, and I think he's talking kind of in general about the Six Nations. He's saying the 1-12 winning margin. This could be a good one for that, and I tend to agree with that. Just to mention on Twickenham's drainage, we've talked about the drainage at Loftus and at Ellis Park. I've always found Twickenham has got superb drainage. So if it does rain early, wait and see still if it's raining in the game, because I have noticed that the ground does seem to dry up quite nicely. Let me unmute him so he can give us his opinion. Oracle? Sorry.
Brent.
Sorry, there's a delay. I think it's my Wi-Fi that's so slow. Okay, there we go. Oracle, you're back now.
No problem. Yeah, Brent. I'm on the Irish plus. I'm not very confident. I just think that the fact that the Irish got a plus, I'm impressed. It's a bit of value for Ireland. So the guys that are looking for an Irish win, you're getting a decent bit of value here. And I think that England have not impressed me in this tournament so far. And I like the Irish. I didn't like them against Scotland. I was right there. They haven't played. I don't think they've played France yet. No, they haven't. Well, they may have. Sorry, I forget now. But I do like the Irish here. I'm on the plus, but it's not a lot of money. Very small bet for me.
Excellent.
But I do like the fact that it's on Sunday. That's fantastic. Loving it. Got something to do on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it is always good to have a Sunday game. It's either get out stakes, where you're chasing the bookies and you've got a chance to get out, or if you've had a good weekend, there's nothing better than settling down knowing the pressure's off and you can have a nice bet on the game. Stig, what are you going for in this one, the minus or the plus? No bet. Fair call there by the. I mean, that's one of the important things for punters. Henrik just making the point that will the roof be closed in Cardiff, and maybe Shane can come in on that one and just confirm it, because of course, Henrik, that is something those of us who punt points, whenever it comes to Wales game, that's the first thing we're always searching for, isn't it? Will the roof be closed or not?
Yeah, and there's not all clarity on that. I'm actually not even sure what how it's decided. I think both coaches must agree on it. But it's normally closed. I'd be surprised if it's open. I think it would suit Wales if it's open. The French will probably want it closed because they play a bit of a higher tempo game. But I think it should be closed. So I don't think the rain would have any effect there.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of the Six Nations. Hey, guys, the conductor was really the man who was going to talk European rugby, and it'll be a bit awkward to chat with the Stig just on sign language there. So let me just run through you guys quickly, and we'll wrap the show up. Pierre, anything else from your side in Europe or anything like that you've earmarked? And perhaps just sum up your best bet, whether it be Super Rugby or Six Nations.
I think I'll start off tomorrow morning watching the game. That Crusaders halftime cap for me. That will be a good play. And then I would say the Reds and definitely the Bulls for the win on the board. Those would be my highlights for the weekend.
Right, and just a reminder, guys, there is a link to our newsletter in the description box down below. So get that and you'll get our newsletter tomorrow with the best bets. Henrik, let's go to you now while I've still got Oracle muted. Give us your any other fancies in Europe or best bets.
Yeah, no, Brent, I haven't had a look at the domestic competitions in Europe. I'm just going to stick with the Reds minus as my best bet.
Excellent. Well, let me just, while we're talking here, I'm just going to bring up, Son of a Punt has sent me selections. I'm going to, and you'll remember him from the sevens. Son of a Punt is actually two. It's two tipsters there. So I'm going to just quickly run through their selections in Europe. Connacht plus 7.5 against Edinburgh. Cheetahs plus 14.5 against Ulster. Sarries minus 1.5 against Wasps. Bath minus 3.5 against Quins. Glasgow minus 15.5 against the Dragons. Racing 7.5 against Lyon. I'm assuming that's a minus. His best bets are the Cheetahs, Connacht, and Bath on the handicap. And he thinks the tactic this weekend is to go in play in Europe and backing whichever team has the wind on their side. So conditions not expected to be good, but he says that did work well last weekend. That's it then. From that, Gavin, let me just bring you on then for a final word and whether you've got anything that you like in Europe.
No, nothing, Brent. I mean, look, I'm not going to touch anything outside of Super Rugby and Six Nations this weekend. It's a tight week. School fees, unfortunately, are the bigger winner for me this year. Don't have too much money to punt. What little bit I've got, the Six Nations and Super Rugby. I'm not even following the European rugby at the moment. So, can't help you there. Sorry.
Excellent. Thanks very much to Oracle for popping in there when the conductor popped out and putting pay to the rumours that he and the Stig are one and the same. In terms of Shane's comment here, just to recap the total points line, 41.5. Paul Scumby, one of our Facebook viewers, coming in and confirming the roof will be closed. So, looking forward to this weekend. Guys, I think let's wrap it up there. We've gone for nearly an hour. I know, Pierre, you've got a work call to make at about 10 o'clock or so. So, Pierre, great to have you back on the show and look forward to seeing you again in the near future.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good weekend.
Excellent. Hendrik, as always, good to have you on the show. And, I think we're shouting some of the same bets home this weekend. Yeah,
it's always nice when we're aligned. Good luck to everyone. I'm not that strong this weekend. I was stronger the first 2 weekends, but still, I like the Reds. I think the Reds should put the Sunwolves away. Good luck to all the punters.
Excellent. And just to say to the Stig, thanks very much for joining us, giving your selections. I assume you'll be posting them on the Good for the Game forum as well. To the conductor in his absence, it was great that we managed to get 38 minutes out of him. And Oracle, let me give you the final word. Good to have you on the show. Lovely vest, I've got to say. And anything else you're looking forward to this weekend besides the rugger?
Yeah, I'm just going to say Shane's probably right. This is probably more likely to be called a tank top and not really a vest. It's not sexy. I do apologize for all the women that are watching tonight or on the show after this. I do apologize. I haven't shaved. I haven't cut my hair, and I'm wearing a really dodgy vest. So I am sorry. I will clean up for next week.
Well, excellent. Well, I think everyone who is watching on the podcast is probably going to want to go and watch the YouTube show just to see what this vest looks like. But thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks as always to the guys in the live chat. It was great having you on. And we look forward to chatting to you next week. Do look out on Monday night for our rugby show, which reviews the Super Rugby. That's Use It or Lose It, Monday nights at 9. And have a good weekend. Stay close to the Good for the Game forum, and let's make some money. Thanks, everyone.